Today I'm going to be reviewing this LotFun basketball hoop that was recently sent to me by the brand so I could make this video and showcase this item. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be opening this up here inside, showing you everything that's inside. I'm going to be doing partial assembly, but then of course mounting it outside. So let me go and open it up, show you what you get inside, then we'll get to the assembly and the mounting process. So there's not too much assembly that needs to be done. The backboard is already assembled. So essentially the way the instructions go, which I'll show you each page of the instructions here in a minute, just in case you lose yours or something like that. But I just want to kind of show you what this is going to look like. So essentially, this is going to be the part that's going to mount onto your pole, or I'm actually going to be mounting this on the back of my barn, so that way my kids can play there. And then it's going to come with an adjustment thing, which I already put the handle onto there. It's just going to be taking the screw off, putting the screw back on. It comes with the netting for your basketball hoop. So essentially, you're just going to take, the instructions tell you to put it all together and then mount it. We're actually going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to mount, so this square is what's going to actually mount onto your garage, barn, wherever the case might be for that. And these poles come out from it to your backboard. So we're actually going to assemble everything except for that back part. We're going to mount that first and then attach this on. As we figured, it'd probably be a little bit more difficult to mount this onto the barn because we're going to be up on ladders and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to mount that if you have the whole backboard and everything that you're trying to hold up, is how the instructions have it. So let me go ahead and show you what the instructions show. So your first step on the instructions is actually going to be to mount the rim to your backboard. So this comes with a couple of screws in it. You're just going to take those out. Then you're going to put the screws through into the actual hoop, and then you'll put those screws back onto there. So essentially you just have to make room in there for these screws. They are marked, and then these are all going to be labeled on the bag as well. So you've got B, you've got A, we have a D, and then we have I on that one, and then one little one that's going to be C. So it is nice that each one of those bags are going to be labeled just to make it a little bit easier for you when you're going through the assembly process. Next, you're going to put on these brackets. So that's going to be those two brackets that are going to be there. I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom. The next thing that you are going to do is attach it all together. So attach it with the back. Again, we're going to skip this step. So we're actually going to put the back on first, and then we're going to mount this together just to make it a little bit easier when we are moving it up. And the next thing is you're going to install your joystick onto here, or joystick is this little thing here. Essentially, this is the item that allows you to crank it up or down. So you're going to put like the cross braces on here and here, and then you're going to go ahead and attach this. So this allows you to move the basketball, go up or down just by cranking on this little handle here. So that's going to be a nice feature. So that's going to be the next step on step 5 and 6, the assembly of that. You're going to use those pieces to mount that little crank onto the frame itself. And then the last thing that they have you doing is actually mounting it, which we're going to do that again ahead of time. So we're going to put this mount attached first. It does tell you you're going to be using brackets H, and then drill holes for the 6 pieces, and then you're going to be using I for these bolts. So these are going to be the bolts that they're going to give you. So you're essentially going to be drilling holes into the woods. So you're going to see how you're going to drill holes for the plug bolts, and then you're going to fix it to the wall. So essentially you're going to drill the holes for these to go like into your wood, and then you're going to then put these bolts on this side. So that's how it's going to be designed on there. And then the last thing, of course, is just to put the last little bit onto your netting onto your rim. Now, this does come with all of the wrenches and things that you need, so that's going to be a nice feature. And these are actually going to be like real metal wrenches, so they're not like little tiny plastic flimsy ones. So it's nice that it actually comes with all the wrenches and things that you need. You've got a 17 and a 19. We've got another 17 and a 19, so you can hold both ends of the bolts and the nuts. You've got a 13 and 14. And then you've got another 13 and 14. And also came with 2 smaller ones that I used to put this on. Let me see what I did with them. I think I stuck them underneath here somewhere. Oh, they're sitting right there. So it does come with 2. These are just going to be like smaller, thinner ones. But these other ones are going to be really nice and thick. So you can easily go through that. So let's go ahead and go through the assembly process. We'll see how long that takes, what it looks like once it's done, that sort of a deal. Now, your backboard is going to have a bunch of like cling film that's going to go across the front, which you will most likely want to take off. Most people will. However, what I would recommend is that you take a knife, so I just use a steak knife, and cut back all along these edges here and even up the sides. So the thing is, the plastic is actually going to be underneath the section here, the sections on the side, etc. And so what you'll do if you don't cut off ahead of time is you're going to get little pieces of plastic left behind like this that are going to be really tedious to take off. So it's going to be a lot easier to just run a knife's blade, just stick it up at a little bit of an angle so you don't mess up where you actually see. So you can easily just stick it right behind there, just a tiny bit up, and then just make a slice all of the way around your backboard, and that will make it come off a lot easier rather than having to go backwards and kind of get small pieces off like I did. Now when you are mounting, if you're going to mount it separately like I am, you want to make sure that you mount it like this. So you need to mount it vertically rather than horizontally. And you can tell I did it wrong because I got holes in my barn because I mounted it like a picture frame, and because of the cross beams that you're attaching to it, the holes, so the holes running along here should be on the sides, not on the top and the bottom. So just make sure that if you mount it separately, you're not following the instructions like I am, it will make the mounting process easier. Just make sure you have this set up correctly. So it is up. Total mounting time, assembly, etc. It took us about 2 hours. Now that's for myself for a good portion of the time, and then my wife helped me as well during another portion of the time. But it didn't take too terribly long considering you're actually going to be mounting it. Now, we kind of mounted this one a bit lower on our barn because our kids are younger, so you can easily adjust it up or down, and it does adjust up and down a good amount. And I'll grab you the measurements on how far up or down it adjusts here in a minute. But as you can see, it does adjust a good amount. So it's going to be really easy to adjust it just by turning this crank that's going to be right here on the bottom. Now, if you are going up, it actually does help to just kind of push up on this, and that just takes the pressure off when you're going up. So it does make it considerably easier to crank up, and then cranking down is quite literally just cranking this little thing the opposite way. So this is going to be up, and then this is going to be going down, and you just quite literally just crank the handle to adjust it. So that is kind of nice that it has that easy adjustability. Really nice looking basketball hoop as well once you get it all assembled and mounted. And like I said, you can easily put it lower or higher depending on, the age of your kids, that sort of a deal. So overall, definitely a really great option. So obviously your measurement off the ground is going to vary depending on how high you mount it. But I'm just going to give you where it's at right now and then when it adjusts from its highest to its lowest point. So right now it's at 76 inches high. Now here at its lowest point, it's about 50 inches. So it's got a 26-inch adjustability essentially. So no matter how closer to the ground or above the ground you are, this is going to adjust by 26 inches up or down. So this at its lowest point, right here, it adjusts down 26 inches from its highest point. So that's to give you a general idea of like if you're mounting all the way up, like if we were to mount it all the way up at the top of the barn, with this all the way up, then we could come down 26 inches on it with that crank adjustability.